Hello again! So last time when I showed you how to make a normal non-fancy quesadilla, many people were asking in the comments in YouTube and Reddit about the different kinds of tortillas. So that's what we're going to talk about today. The first thing is that there are many different kinds of tortillas. If you ask any Mexican, they'll probably know of a city or town or maybe even a specific person that makes some kind of really good tortillas. For example, last time my grandmother came by, she brought us flour tortillas from her hometown because they are delicious and there's nothing else like it anywhere. That said, there are, broadly speaking, two main types of tortillas: flour tortillas and corn tortillas. Corn tortillas can have different colors. For example, I have here the sort of yellowish ones that I used in the previous video, and here I have some other white ones that I have just bought from the store. This is how you usually buy them at a tortilleria, at a tortilla store. They come wrapped in this paper, and they look something like this. They are really fresh. So, as you can see, these are like a lot clearer, a lot whiter. But in terms of texture, these are a little bit more rigid and these are a little bit softer. Although in terms of flavor, they are very similar. Honestly, it comes to personal preference. Now, I don't know where in the world you are, but if you're lucky enough to be able to buy tortillas from a tortilla store, there's something really important you need to know. Freshly made tortillas need to be separated before you put them in the freeze, like this. I would just like peel them off and just do this. And then when I'm finished, I just stack them all in the paper again and then put them in the freeze. And it sounds really silly, but the thing is that if you don't do this, there's something that happens with the humidity in the freezer and the tortillas, and you end up with this block of tortillas, and when you try to peel them off, when you try to separate them, they are just gonna break apart and it's gonna be a mess. And the way to avoid it is simply to do this. I'm not entirely sure why, but yeah, I tasted that it works. I have had the misfortune to have all my tortillas get fused together into a single tortilla block, and that wasn't great. And since then I always remember to do this, and that has never happened again. But, well. The other main kind of tortilla is flour tortillas. These are the ones that I bought at the store, and as you can see, they look kind of similar to corn tortillas. These ones are made with wheat, these ones are made with corn. These ones are usually bigger than corn tortillas. In this case, they are roughly the same size, but they can be a lot larger. Flour tortillas are a lot more popular in the north of Mexico, to the point that it is the only kind of tortillas some people eat, although in the center and middle, people eat mostly corn tortillas. They are both really good, in my opinion, although they are good for different things. For example, if I'm eating mole, I'm gonna prefer to have some corn tortillas at hand. Although if I'm eating machaca, a kind of dried meat, I much prefer some flour tortillas. The main difference when cooking with a flour tortilla instead of with a corn tortilla is that flour tortillas are a lot more delicate. Like, it is much easier that they are gonna burn when you put them in the comal. So you're gonna be careful with that. The other thing is that they are a lot more flexible. Look, I can do this with a flour tortilla and it's not breaking apart. But if I did this with this corn tortilla, let me show you. I do that and it's already breaking apart, you see? So yeah, they are a lot more flexible even when cold, but they are also a lot more delicate. So yeah, you have to keep that in mind when you are heating them. Now, remember that I mentioned that tortillas tend to crumble and break apart over time? There's really nothing you can do about it. It's gonna happen no matter how careful you are. And maybe you will look at all your tortillas and be like, oh man, what can I do with all these broken tortillas? Well, I have the answer for you. Chilaquiles. I think that chilaquiles were invented when someone only had broken tortillas to feed the children and they had to come up with something they could do with them. So what we are gonna do is we're gonna take a normal pan and we are gonna take some oil. I usually use olive oil. And we are gonna need some, I mean, you can use tortillas that are perfectly fine, like, I don't know, this one, but it is much more practical to use the tortillas you have that are breaking apart, because well, what else are you gonna do with them, right? This way you are not gonna waste any food. So first we're gonna turn the fire and we're gonna wait for the oil to begin heating, and we are gonna just break these tortillas into small pieces, roughly this size. I mean, I'm not very precise on those things. I just like break them into small parts. And we are gonna fry them in the pan with the oil. All you have to do is just stir the tortillas in the pan, and we are just gonna wait for them to fry, to be all crispy and hard. Now, you might be wondering how many tortillas should you use? And well, everyone is different and you might find tortillas with different sizes and everything, but in my experience, 4 tortillas is usually enough for one person. Also, feel free to just chop some onions and fry them along with the tortillas. That's gonna give it a really good flavor as well. But in this case, I'm just gonna show you the minimal viable recipe. So yeah, without onions. Oddly enough, even though in the north they really prefer flour tortillas, I've also found, in my experience at least, that they really like chilaquiles. Especially in the city of Monterrey, they really like chilaquiles. I don't know why, that seems one of the few situations in which they eat corn tortillas. Most of the time they are eating flour tortillas. And if you're wondering if you can make chilaquiles with flour tortillas, you can definitely try, but, and I've done it because I was curious, but nah, it wasn't as good. Like, flour tortillas just don't fry and do not get crispy. No, it's just, you end up with a mess. By the way, I'm gonna let you guys choose what the next video is gonna be about, so I'm gonna put 2 pinned comments in the comments. One is gonna be called option 1 and the other one is gonna be option 2. And if you wanna know what option 1 and option 2 are, well, stay until the end of the video. Or just skip ahead, like I'm not the police, you can do whatever. I just want you to see the recommended videos, because I've made many other videos in this channel and I like how they turn out and I want more people to see them, so yeah, sue me. Now you can see how everything is crispy and a little bit crunchy. So now it's time to add the final ingredient. Tomato sauce. Similar to the tomato sauce you would use to make a pizza, for example. I usually use half of these little packages, but I don't know, you might find it in different presentations and you're gonna just have to follow your heart to know how much tomato sauce you should use. So yeah, good luck with that. So, once the tortillas are all crispy and everything, you just add the tomato sauce. And then all you have to do is just stir this up. I mean, this recipe is really simple, but when you do this, when you put the tomato sauce, it starts smelling so good. Or, I don't know, at least I really like it. At this point, it's also a very good idea if you want to add some cheese. Maybe you can take one of these. Oh, damn, I forgot the word in English. Okay, so you can just grab one of these things and use it on a block of cheese. I swear to God I speak English, I just forgot the word related to this thing. Well, you can do that with cheese on your chilaquiles, and yeah, it's gonna be really good. So now we are just gonna take the tortillas, and you can put them in a plate, and if you're feeling like, oh man, this is not enough for a breakfast, well, I, most of the time, like to accompany this with a fried egg. Also, I don't know about you, but usually the sauce that gets stuck to the pan if you can scrape it off while it's still hot, it also tastes really good. Or maybe you have such a good pan that no sauce is gonna stick to the pan, in which case, I'm sorry for you, you're gonna miss on all of it. Look, all the tomato sauce that stuck to the spatula. This tastes really good. Finally, I'm just gonna make one fried egg or sunny side egg, or damn, I forgot what's the difference. I don't know, I just put an egg on the pan and just let it cook. And so, well, let's hope I don't break it and I don't ruin the shot, because I'm not gonna repeat it. Oh, it broke a little. Quick, to the camera! Okay, it broke a little, but you get the idea. Here you have it. Some chilaquiles with a fried egg, and yeah, maybe you can add some salt. Yeah. And yeah, that's it. This was my breakfast many days when I was in college, because it's such an easy breakfast to do. I don't know, it's tasty, it's fast, and it's nice. This and cereal got me through college. Thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. And the two options are option 1, normal non-fancy guacamole, and option 2, normal non-fancy enchiladas. I'm gonna be making both of those videos. You're just gonna choose which one I do first. So if you wanna watch them, please subscribe and give a like. Thanks.